You're listening to the Kirkintilloch Herald, a Q&A review recording service podcast, brought to you by our team of volunteers currently recording from their homes across Scotland. Whether you're listening via the BWBF online players, the telephone app, or our brand new Alexa skill, please phone us on 0141 772 3976 to feedback on what you want us to provide and improve upon. Please also join your family and friends in being our audio ambassadors and share our Facebook, Twitter and Instagram all at Q&A Review. That's at symbol CUEANDREVIEW.
Kirky Herald, Wednesday the 16th of November 2022, read to you today by Alan, Corey, Hunter and Ian. Kirky lad unveils t-shirt design for Santa Dash, read to you by myself, Ian. A brave 6-year-old who is an aggressive brain tumour has unveiled the new t-shirt designs for Glasgow's charity Santa Dash. Little Cole Park from Kirkintilloch underwent major brain surgery and intensive courses of chemotherapy and radiotherapy after doctors discovered he had a brain tumour in March this year. The youngster spent several months in the Beatson West of Scotland Cancer Centre with his mum, Michelle Barry, who says staff became quite like family as visiting was restricted due to COVID. Now Michelle, aged 37, and Cole's aunt, Lisa Park, aged 33, are planning to run Glasgow Santa Dash to raise funds for the Beatson Cancer Charity, pushing Cole in his wheelchair if he's well enough on the day. Cole, who is now continuing his treatment at home, visited Glasgow Green along with his mum and aunt to inspect the course and meet the charity's mascot Bella the Bee. The family fun run will take place for the first time in 3 years on Sunday, December the 11th, with a route around Glasgow Green and reusable t-shirts for runners. The new t-shirts feature a belt and button design on the front and are included in the run's registration fee of £15 for adults and £5 for young people under the age of 16 years. Cole's mum, Michelle, who shaved off her hair in sympathy with her son, said, "Lisa and I want to run the Santa Dash to raise sponsorship for Beatson Cancer Charity in recognition of everything the hospital has done for Cole." Every Friday, Cole got to drive in a wee police car to his radiotherapy sessions and he loved that. Runners who register to take part in the Festive Family Fun Run can raise sponsorship for any chosen charity. Any profits from the Glasgow City Council run event will be split between Beatson Cancer Charity and the Lord Provost Children's Fund. Lord Provost Jacqueline McLaren said, "The Santa Dash is such a happy event which raises funds for good causes in the run-up to Christmas. Register at www.glasgow.gov.uk/Santa Dash. Registration closes at 4 p.m. on December the 9th. Beatson Cancer Charity also have an online Just Giving page." This week in history. November the 16th, 1989, a pillar of South African apartheid crumbled when beach restrictions were removed by President F.W. de Klerk. On this day last year, the Cambridge Dictionary revealed its word of the year for 2021 was perseverance. November the 17th, 1307, William Tell is reputed to have shot the apple off his son's head on this day. On this day last year, a device was created to allow dogs to video call their owners. November the 18th, 1477, William Caxton issued the first dated printed book from his printing press. On this day last year, NHS was given the green light to offer people living with HIV the first long-acting injectable to keep the virus at bay. November the 19th, 1863, Abraham Lincoln made his Gettysburg Address. On this day last year, Dyson opened a virtual reality store to allow customers to try out its products before choosing to buy them. November the 20th, 1979, Anthony Blunt was stripped of his knighthood after being exposed as the fourth man in the Burgess McLaren Philby spy scandal. On this day last year, BBC Children in Need raised more than £39 million following its annual fundraising show. 1,140 hours. Update. Councillors have set the new funding rate for preschool children in East Northamptonshire attending early years centres or childcare facilities. The council will pay an hourly rate of £5.77 per hour per 3-year-old child under its 1,140 hours programme, a total cost of over £440,000. This programme has been bolstered by the fact that the 3 newly built LA Year Centres, Oakburn, Bearsden and Laresland, are fully operational, thereby increasing capacity. As councillors considered the report updating them, Councillor Alex Matheson asked what could be done to encourage more childminders to partner with the council. Education Chief Greg Bremner confirmed East Dunbartonshire ran annual events hoping to connect with more childminders. Councillor Matheson said there is a massive difference in salaries in the sector, which is causing major problems in recruiting childminders to work with the council. Mr Bremner said that this was a national issue and many providers paid the living wage. It was also confirmed that market research through Ipsos Mori had not attracted enough feedback from providers for the council to have a rate provided to it, but a regional rate was provided, and the 8 local authorities forming the West Partnership Regional Group collaborated, in line with guidance from the Scottish Government, to establish a rate they deemed appropriate. Councillor Matheson then requested clarification on the calculations behind the new rate, especially as other councils outside the West Partnership had set higher rates. It was agreed that this would be provided. Councillor Vaughan Moody queried why there had not been a greater response to the study. Mr Bremner said that concerns over sustainability, driven by the pandemic, were a factor, and that the council had no role in setting the questions within the survey. Councillor Moody then asked why, if the council was providing 48% of its funding to private nurseries, responsible for 40% of East Dunbartonshire children, staff are leaving these nurseries to work for the council. Mr Bremner said he could not comment on how independent businesses paid their workers.
Robbery appeal as recorded by Hunter MacDonald. Officers are appealing for information following a robbery at the corner of Hill End Road and Balmore Road. The incident took place on Wednesday the 2nd of November when a 43-year-old woman was approached by a man who then demanded money before making off on foot along Balmore Road. The man is described as white, approximately 5 feet 8 in height and around 30 years old. He was wearing a black jacket with a peaked hood, a light coloured t-shirt and dark trousers with light coloured trainers. He also had on a black snood. Constable Natalie Davner said, "This has been a terrifying experience for the victim and thankfully no one was hurt. I'm appealing for anyone who may have witnessed this incident or who has information relating to it to make contact with the police."
Hospital Radio wins Gold Awards. Glasgow's Hospital Broadcasting Service, HBS, which recently celebrated its 50th birthday, has scooped up multiple awards at a national competition. The volunteer-run service, whose DJs can be heard across acute sites, picked up 3 awards at the UK Hospital Radio Awards, thanks to DJ Hannah Gilchrist, who won Best Newcomer, and DJ Graham Ferguson, who took the Bronze in Specialist Music category award. The station rounded off its winning streak with another gold for its HBS at 50 documentary, marking 50 years of service. The HBS team has long been a familiar sight on the wards and airwaves of NHS GGC hospitals, regularly visiting patients to take requests for the evening show, The Open Line. Unfortunately, due to COVID-19, the face-to-face service was temporarily suspended but looks set to relaunch in coming weeks as restrictions are now eased on visiting. In the meantime, patients can continue to request songs on the HBS website here or through the tablet devices available on all wards. Arwell Williams, Director for NHS GGC's South Sector, said, "The hospital broadcasting service has been keeping patients and staff company for many years, and it's a valuable source of entertainment. For patients, having engagement thanks to the volunteer teams who visit the wards is really important, and they always enjoy listening to the show to hear their requests played. We look forward to welcoming the volunteers back onto the wards in coming weeks." Read by Alan Todd.
Extra support from EDC. At its recent meeting, East Dunbartonshire Council agreed a further set of measures to support the ongoing cost of living crisis, as part of the £2.1 million committed in September. Council Leader Gordon Lowe explained, "We continue to look at the ways in which we can support the most vulnerable during these incredibly difficult financial times. We have extended the measures that we brought in to include an allocation of £102,000 to enhance payment to pensioners, on top of that which has been allocated by Scottish Government, and all eligible pensioners will now receive £100. We are also providing £30,000 in grant funding for organisations who can offer warm spaces for those in need of our communities across the winter months. We have already begun conversations with those organisations who can offer warm spaces to support those struggling to keep their homes heated, and the grant application process for up to £1,000 per group will launch shortly. These additional measures to support the cost of living crisis are a key priority for the Council, on top of the commitments already in place, including additional winter payments, support payments for eligible children, food vouchers for those in most in need, energy support measures for tenants, and the swim and gym provision for our school pupils." Councillor Lowe continued, "I wish these additional measures were not necessary, but the ongoing escalating inflation and increasing prices mean that residents are facing difficult choices."
Children benefit. More than 2,000 children are benefiting from free early learning and childcare (ELC) in East Dunbartonshire, saving the average family £5,000 per eligible child on childcare costs. The total 2,116 children benefiting include 102 eligible 2-year-olds and 1,821 3- and 4-year-olds, who are all taking up the 1,140 hours on offer. Strathkelvin Bearsden MSP Rona Mackay said, "Scotland is the only part of the UK to offer 1,140 hours of free childcare to all 3- and 4-year-olds and eligible 2-year-olds. This has saved families in my constituency £5,000 per eligible child at a time when costs are skyrocketing as a result of the cost of living crisis. Childcare benefits children too by enriching their early years and giving them the confidence and skills they need to prepare them for school. Charity benefits by £1,443. Thanks to the generous donations of locals, council staff, family and friends, Provost Gillian Rennick, Deputy Provost Colette McDermott and Councillor Pamela Marshall have raised just shy of £1,500 for Cancer Research UK. The tenacious trio completed the annual 10k Shine Night Walk in Glasgow, raising £1,443.75 for the charity. Provost Rennick said, "Completing the walk was a very special experience and we are delighted with the amount raised on this, our first charity event together. We are grateful to everyone who contributed to support vital research into this awful disease that impacts so many of our lives. Every donation really does make a difference."
A803 plan is now open. As part of the City Deal investment in East Dunbartonshire and North Glasgow, communities surrounding the A803 are being invited to find out more about an exciting new project that aims to make significant improvements to the corridor connecting North Glasgow to Bishopbriggs and beyond. The Council are writing to residents to inform you about this new project, outline how you can get involved, and request your support to help communicate this opportunity through your networks. The project is a partnership between East Dunbartonshire Council, Glasgow City Council and Strathclyde Partnership for Transport. It is looking to improve connections for active and sustainable travel, walking, wheeling, cycling and bus between the section of the A803 from Torrens Roundabout in East Dunbartonshire to Royston Road in Glasgow, just north of the M8. Key benefits of the project will include improvements to links across the A803 connecting communities currently severed by the corridor, as well as improving connections between areas of multiple deprivation and employment opportunities within the region and locally. Take part between November 8th to 22nd. The project is currently undertaking a feasibility study to investigate what improvements could be made to the A803 corridor. As part of this, the delivery team wants to hear from the communities served by the corridor on the key issues, opportunities and improvements they want to see considered as part of the project. Whether you live in Glasgow or East Dunbartonshire, you're being invited to have your say at this early stage to ensure the project develops in line with the needs of people who use the corridor. A survey has been launched giving people the chance to submit their views. This can be completed online now at www.eastdunbarton.gov.uk/A803-survey. That's www.eastdunbarton.gov.uk/A803-survey, or by visiting Springburn Library, Bishopbriggs Library, or the Leisure Dome in Bishopbriggs from Tuesday, November the 8th. A drop-in event is planned for Tuesday, November 15th at Bishopbriggs Memorial Hall between 12 p.m. and 6:30 p.m. to hear more about the project directly from the team that are involved in it.
Walking for charity. A group of new mums who had children born during the lockdown are putting their best foot forward to raise funds for a very worthy charity. The 20 mothers, all of whom are from Kirkintilloch, Bishopbriggs and the surrounding areas, are taking part in a sponsored walk with their now 2-year-olds and their siblings. Local organiser Karen Wiley said, "We know each other as a result of having children in lockdown. In May 2020, shortly after I had my second child, I started what was initially a virtual group for local mums who had babies during the first lockdown in Bishopbriggs and surrounding areas. Not only did they help to keep me sane, but they turned out to be some of the loveliest, most helpful, supportive and funny women I have ever met. When we were in lockdown, we then formed a new baby group and walked and talked together, following governing guidance for baby groups, in all weathers. We have supported each other through lockdown, teething, sleepless nights, returning to work, and all the challenges and stresses mums face. Unfortunately, one of our mums, Lisa, was recently diagnosed with breast cancer, and we have been thinking of all the things we could do to support her. We've been making her meals and helping her out in other ways. One of the things we decided we could do was to raise some money for the charity Breast Cancer Now by taking our lockdown children on a sponsored walk. It's not the easiest managing a large group of 2-year-olds. I'd rather walk 20 miles alone. However, the walk is organised now for November the 20th. We'd love to raise lots of money and raise awareness of breast cancer too, so we were hoping the public would support us by donating to our Just Giving page at www.justgiving.com/team/lockdownmums. At the time of going to press, the total raised so far was standing at a remarkable £2,614. Breast Cancer Now commented, "We are delighted to hear of the challenge about to be undertaken by this group of East Dunbartonshire women and their children born during the lockdown period."
Gaelic language planning. The Gaelic story of the University of Glasgow is at the forefront of its consultation, launched on November the 9th for its third Gaelic language plan. The new plan aims to build upon the last two Gaelic plans, 2013 and 2018, and the university's excellent reputation as a leader of Gaelic language development work. A central theme running through the draft plan, which covers 3 academic sessions, 2023 to 2026, is to foster and encourage, through creative projects, events and tours, the story of Gaelic at the university from its foundation in 1451 until the present day. Uzma Khan, Director of Strategic Planning, Deputy Chief Operating Officer and Vice Principal Economic Development and Innovation, said, "It's a pleasure to be involved in the conversation to help support the development of Gaelic throughout the university. Gaelic language and culture is a valuable resource for many of our students and staff, and the community is an asset to the university."
Sectarian Loud gets a second chance. A woman who hurled sectarian abuse at her neighbour and spat on a police officer avoided jail last week. Anne Lindsay, 58, made the remark towards Michaela Hay at their block of flats in Bishopbriggs in May 2021. Lindsay, now of Kirkintilloch, shouted, "You are a cow and I'm going to get away with this. Cheerio to your 10 in a row, you Fenian B." Explicit deleted. Lindsay pled guilty at Glasgow Sheriff Court to breaching bail by contacting Miss Hay. She also admitted behaving in a threatening or abusive manner, as well as culpable and reckless conduct. Sheriff Stuart Reid put Lindsay under supervision for 20 months. He told her, "It seems you have pulled yourself up, however, this is an alternative to custody." The court heard that Lindsay was granted bail for a separate matter in February 2021 with instructions not to contact Miss Hay. The victim was in her flat when she heard shouting and swearing coming from Lindsay's property. Miss Hay recorded Lindsay making the sectarian comments. A 999 call was made and officers later found Miss Hay visibly upset. Lindsay was arrested as she continued to shout and swear. She stated, "Aye, it's because of that wee grass up there," in reference to Miss Hay. Lindsay then shouted to the flat above that she was going to murder Miss Hay. She then turned her attention to PC Linda McCafferty and told her, "I'm going to do you in." Lindsay was taken into custody where she continued to shout and swear. Prosecutor Sarah Latta added, as she did so, spit left her mouth and landed on PC McCafferty's shoulder. Callum Ross, defending, told the court that Lindsay was temporarily homeless after the incident. The lawyer added, "She has had time to reflect on her offending and what led to it. She is candid about it and described her embarrassment and shame as a result of her own actions. She is disgusted by her behaviour and is sincerely sorry." Extra holiday. Monday the 8th of May 2023 will be a national bank holiday to mark the coronation of His Majesty King Charles III. The Scottish Government has said the occasion will allow individuals, businesses and other organisations in Scotland to celebrate the coronation. His Majesty King Charles III's coronation will take place on Saturday, May the 6th, 2023, and the introduction of an additional bank holiday on the following Monday will result in a 3-day coronation weekend. First Minister Nicola Sturgeon said, "The coronation will be a historic moment for Scotland, and the Scottish Government wants to give as many people as possible the opportunity to join the celebrations. Scotland will want to send its best wishes to His Majesty King Charles III and the Queen Consort."
Event was a success. Residents turned out in their droves for help at a special event organised by 3 Eastern Bartonshire parliamentarians aimed at supporting local people in tackling the soaring cost of living. Strathkelvin and Bearsden MSP Rona Mackay, Eastern Bartonshire MP Amy Callaghan, and Cumbernauld, Kilsyth and Kirkintilloch East MP Stuart MacDonald invited local people to the cost of living advice event held recently at the Park Centre in Kirkintilloch. A number of organisations, including Citizens Advice, Home Energy Scotland, Eastern Bartonshire Food Bank and Eastern Bartonshire Voluntary Action, were also on hand to help, as well as Social Security Scotland, who gave residents advice on the benefits available to them, which are devolved to Scotland. Local SNP MSP Rona Mackay said, "Assisted by fantastic third sector organisations, Citizens Advice and numerous other agencies, we did our best to answer the concerns and queries of worried people. We wanted to provide as much help and support as possible. Frankly, we shouldn't have had to hold this event in the first place, but I hope it was useful to those who attended. The number of constituents coming forward to help was a damning indictment of the UK Tory government, who are responsible for this cost of living crisis. Many of my constituents cannot afford to heat their homes. Many are now struggling to afford even the most basic foods, with prices for essential items soaring." The full range of organisations who took part in the cost of living advice event were Ceartas, Carers Link, Christians Against Poverty, Citizens Advice, Home Energy Scotland, Eastern Bartonshire Food Bank, Eastern Bartonshire Voluntary Action, G61, G62 Response and G64 Response. In a joint statement, Rona Mackay MSP, Amy Callaghan MP and Stuart MacDonald MP told the Kirkintilloch Herald, "We brought together a number of organisations under one roof to offer their expertise and guidance on everything from energy bills to managing income and accessing social security payments to support in the local community."
Tough times ahead, MSP. Commenting on the Acting Finance Secretary John Swinney MSP's Emergency Budget Review Statement, Neil Bibby MSP said, "The tough times families across Scotland are facing are almost entirely the fault of Tory mismanagement of the economy. Fantasy economics, which benefited those at the top and left working people high and dry, has crashed the economy, put mortgages and pensions at risk, and leaves us fearing a new round of austerity. People in Scotland are set to face cuts to public services because they are paying the price of the SNP government's waste and incompetence too. I am also concerned by John Swinney's statement, which appears timid and unimaginative in how we use the means available to us. This cost of living crisis requires a fresh approach and, just as we have done in recent months with things like the freeze on energy bills, Labour will continue to put forward proposals and a package of support for those that need help the most.
Christmas Appeal 2022. It's so tough for children's hospices across Scotland families. Children's Hospices across Scotland, CHAS, has launched its 2022 festive fundraising appeal, urging Scots to support dying children and their families this Christmas amidst the ongoing cost of living crisis. With costs continuing to rise across the country, everyone is feeling the pinch this festive season. But for CHAS families, that challenge is even greater. Despite their incredible resilience, many CHAS families have to contend with being forced out of work to care for their children, deal with the daily struggle to pay for fuel to attend various medical appointments, and live in fear of blackouts, as well as deal with the soaring cost of food and energy bills. Every week, 3 children in Scotland die from a life-shortening condition, and now, more than ever before, CHAS is determined to reach every single child who needs their help, ensuring that no one faces the death of their child alone. This year's Christmas appeal powerfully depicts the heartbreak faced by families whose children die young, and highlights the urgency to raise funds to provide this crucial care. Monica Curry, CHAS's Family Income Maximisation Officer, said, "Christmas is a daunting time for many CHAS families. This year many families have not had the time and capacity to think about the festive period because they are focused on how they will pay their bills. For many, Christmas memory making will have to wait until next year. Working families who have not received the benefits are particularly worried about the cost of living crisis and the challenges they face to reduce their energy bills. Humidifiers, suction machines, ventilators, oxygen concentrators all use up a tremendous amount of electricity, and it's not something that can be rationed. Families have also mentioned the risk of blackouts and power cuts and the threat of their energy being cut off if they can't pay their bills. This is incredibly frightening. In the run-up to Christmas, many families are likely to experience further financial hardship, so we are calling on anyone who is in a position to donate to do so to help us fulfil our aim of supporting all children and families across Scotland who need our help." Monica added, "Donations to this year's appeal will enable families who have a child with a life-shortening condition to benefit from respite breaks at the charities Robin and Rachel House Hospices, and for children and siblings to enjoy making Christmas memories together, including meeting Santa." The CHAS Christmas campaign is centred on Dana Lease and her family. Dana's little boy, Ollie James, was cared for at Robin House, one of CHAS's hospices based in Ballach. Dana, 34, said, "The support CHAS has provided since Ollie James dies has been amazing, and we are grateful to it more than ever now as a result of my family being impacted by the cost of living crisis. I had to give up work due to my mental health deteriorating after the loss of Ollie James, and as a family we are definitely feeling the strain of rising costs in the run-up to Christmas this year." Ollie James' arrival 9 days before Christmas in 2018 was a happy surprise for Dana, who already had 3 daughters, Daisy, Sophia and Kimoni, now aged 9, 7 and 6, with her partner, Gary. Sadly, Ollie James was seriously ill, and tests showed he had encephalopathy, a rare defect where part of the skull does not form correctly, and a portion of the brain sits outside the skull in a protruding sac. Ollie James was transferred to the Queen Elizabeth Hospital for special neonatal care, and, despite still being reliant on his ventilator, Dana was able to feed him breast milk through a syringe and even change his nappy. She said, "It meant so much to be able to feed him and care for him like that. Doctors told us he had no strength yet. He wrapped his finger around mine and gripped me quite a few times, which I have videos of him doing. He also opened his eyes once as I held him. I will cherish those special memories forever. The couple were given the choice to say goodbye to Ollie James before Christmas, but decided they wanted to spend Christmas Day together, knowing it would be their first and last with him. After Christmas, arrangements were made for the family to go to Robin House for Ollie James to spend his last days and receive specialist end-of-life care. Following Ollie James' death, his family continued to support Robin House and stayed there right up until 2 days before the funeral, on January the 6th, 2019. Since Ollie James' death, Dana has fundraised for Chaz through various events including Kilt Walk, Zip Slide, and is also now a proud Chaz volunteer. She continues to be supported by Chaz through bereavement counselling and finds comfort engaging with other families who have been helped by the charity through a special Chaz community Facebook page. To donate to the Chaz Christmas Appeal, go to www.chas.org.uk/get-involved/support-us/Christmas-appeal. Dig out your best gear for a fun day out. Calling all ladies who lunch, it's time to dig out your glad rags and handbags for an afternoon of fun, fizz and fine dining, because the annual Fizz and Fabulous Ladies Lunch is back after 3 years and promises to be the biggest and best event so far. The lunch has been organised to raise money for children's charity NSPCC Scotland to help keep children safe from abuse and neglect, and is being held at the Radisson Blu Hotel in Glasgow on Saturday, November the 19th. The NSPCC Ladies Lunch Committee has set a target of selling 400 tickets this year, its 5th event, and hopes to raise £40,000, which should fund the running of the Childline in Scotland for a week, 24 hours a day for 7 days. Janet McAllister, chair of the committee, said, "After attending the ladies' lunch 5 years ago, I knew I wanted to get involved and I have been on the committee ever since. It's always a great day and has grown over the years, so much so that we have had to get a bigger venue. We've really missed it, and we're thrilled to be back with what promises to be our biggest and best event yet. Our special Christmas market, where you can treat yourself to some luxurious goodies or maybe get some lovely gifts from your friends and family, will be open right through the event. We'll also have tombola and a posh bottle tombola for you to try your luck too. Everyone should want to make sure children are kept safe from abuse and neglect. That's why we raise the funds each year for the NSPCC Scotland, to give children a better future. Arrival time is 11:30am for the glass of fizz. The afternoon will be hosted by former Britain's Got Talent contestant Edward Reid and kicks off with some fabulous entertainment from the amazing rock choir, followed by a sumptuous 3-course lunch, coffee and tablet, finishing off with a disco. There will be fun games and a raffle during the afternoon, a live auction and silent auction with amazing prizes to be won. Guests will also hear about NSPCC Scotland's work to help prevent child abuse and neglect and support children and young people. To buy tickets for the Fizz and Fabulous Ladies Lunch, email the charity directly at contact us at fizzandfab.co.uk. That's CONTACTUS @FIZZANDFAB.co.uk. Heating bill worries. Tens of thousands of older people living in East Bartonshire received help to pay their heating bills last winter, new figures show. As Britons prepare to deal with the colder months and soaring energy bills, Charity Age UK said spiralling prices are making it increasingly difficult for older people to heat their homes. The winter fuel payment is a tax-free annual benefit paid to people over pension credit age to help them with their bills as temperatures drop. Department for Work and Pension Statistics show 23,427 older people received a winter fuel payment in 2021, up from 23,066 the year before. Of them, 6,965 were aged over 80, while a further 5,311 were aged 69 and under. In Great Britain, 11.2 million payments were made last winter, up slightly on the 11.1 million made the year previous.
MSP tells Minister to get a grip. Scottish Labour MSP for West Scotland, Neil Bibby, has raised the shocking state of child and adolescent mental health services, CAMHS, in the Scottish Parliament, demanding answers from the Scottish Government on the state of CAMHS, waiting lists and what is being done to tackle them. Mr Bibby raised the case of a constituent whose 9-year-old son has been self-harming for some time. Quizzing the Minister for Mental Health, Kevin Stewart, in the Scottish Parliament, Neil Bibby said, "I have previously written to the Minister about my constituent who lives in East Dunbartonshire. John's 9-year-old son has been self-harming. He waited 6 months for referral until initial assessment by CAMHS. He was then told that it would be a further year until a support plan was in place. John's younger son is now imitating his brother's behaviour. The entire family are at their wits' end." He added, "Thousands of children are on waiting lists despite the Scottish Government's repeatedly promising to fix the situation. Can the Minister explain why children are continuing to wait so long to get the proper support plans that they need? The Scottish Government's own target states that 90% of children and young people should start treatment within 18 weeks of referral to CAMHS. This, however, is very frequently not the case. Recently published CAMHS waiting times have revealed that those being seen within 18 weeks has fallen to 68.4%. This represents a decrease from 73.2% for the previous quarter and a fall also from the previous year. Speaking after his exchange with the Minister, Neil added, "The state of CAMHS is shocking and heartbreaking, and figures show that it's getting worse, not better. My heart goes out to my constituent, his sons and their family, and to the many thousands of other families affected by the crisis at CAMHS. No children and no family should be going through what they are going through as they languish on a waiting list." The Minister raised COVID as an excuse, but this crisis predates the pandemic. The Scottish Government is presiding over an escalating crisis at CAMHS for many years. They need to urgently get a grip of the situation and finally heed the warnings issued by CAMHS staff as well as service users.
Food poverty. More than 1,000 extra food parcels were handed out between April and September in the East Dunbartonshire area that were given out over the same period in 2021, new figures show. The Trussell Trust, which operates the UK's largest food bank network, says that tsunami of need is gripping the UK, as nationally, demand has now outstripped donations for the very first time. The latest figures from the charity show 3,195 parcels were handed out at 3 food banks run by the Trussell Trust in East Dunbartonshire in the 6 months to the end of September, up 59% from 2006 over the same period in 2021. The number of parcels handed out nationwide also soared to more than 1.2 million over the same period, a whopping 33% increase on April to September 2021.
Family announcements. Deaths. Lynch, John. Sadly, at Glasgow Royal Infirmary on Monday, October 31st, 2022. John, beloved partner of Isabel, much-loved dad of Martin, Jennifer, Lindsay, and loving grandpa and pa to Gary, Freya, Olivia and Charlie. Funeral service took place at Daldowie Crematorium on Tuesday, November 15th, 2022. Martin, Jean. Peacefully at Glasgow Royal Infirmary on November 9th, 2022. At the grand age of 96 years. Beloved wife of the late Tom, much loved mum of Morag, Margaret, Kathleen, Jim and Lynn, greatly adored by her 14 grandchildren and 20 great-grandchildren. Funeral service will take place on Friday, November 25th, 2022 at Daldowie Crematorium at 2 p.m. Family flowers only, donations if desired to Alzheimer's Research UK. Special thanks to all staff at Lillyburn Care Home for their amazing care and support of Jean over the last 4 years.
Turning purple to raise awareness. A number of East Dunbartonshire's best known buildings turned purple on World Pancreatic Cancer Day, Thursday, November the 17th, to raise awareness of this devastating cancer. The community hubs in Bearsden, Kirkintilloch and Bishopbriggs, along with Mulgai Town Hall and Mugdock Country Park Courtyard, will be taking part as people around the world join forces to turn it purple and help save lives. Over 10,000 people and their loved ones have to face a pancreatic cancer diagnosis every year in the UK. Council leader Gordon Lowe said, "We are proud to be supporting this global event once again this year by letting out our most prominent buildings in purple light. Pancreatic cancer typically has very low survival rates and, therefore, raising awareness of this illness, its risk and its symptoms, is absolutely key to early detection and treatment. Of the 22 common cancers, pancreatic cancer has the lowest 5-year survival rate, with fewer than 8% of those diagnosed reaching this milestone. Campaigns such as this help increase awareness and, ultimately, the survival rate. We hope that by lighting up our highest profile buildings in this way, we are providing a public forum to remember loved ones in our community who have sadly died of this disease and celebrate the lives of survivors." Since 2011, the 5-year survival rate has increased from 3.8% to just under 8% due to a big push in campaigning by dedicated charities. The aim is to increase this to 13% in the coming decade so more people can be saved. Pancreatic cancer can be difficult to diagnose. This is because it doesn't usually cause many specific symptoms in the early stages, and symptoms can be quite vague. Give your GP a good description of your symptoms, including any changes to your bowel habits. Tell your GP about anything unusual, even if you aren't sure it's important. Early symptoms of the illness can include jaundice, changes to bowel habits, nausea, unexplained weight loss, pain in the mid-back or upper abdomen, and fatigue. For more information, visit Pancreatic Cancer Action Scotland at www.pancreaticanceraction.org/about/Scotland.
Still not satisfied. People in East Dunbartonshire are feeling less satisfied with their lives than before the coronavirus pandemic, new figures show. This is despite a recent rise in satisfaction levels in the last year. Across the UK, happiness levels have recovered from a pandemic dip in 2020-2021, but remain down on 2019-2020, with Mental Health UK warning that successive lockdowns and now the cost of living crisis have disrupted people's happiness. Office for National Statistics figures show the average person in East Dunbartonshire answered the question, "How satisfied are you with your life nowadays?" at 7.6 out of 10 in the year to March, where 1 is not at all and 10 is completely. This is up from 7.5 the year before, but remains below pre-pandemic levels.
Kirkintilloch Herald letters page. Let's talk. Please send your letters via email to kirkyherald@jnscotland.co.uk and write letters in the subject field. Genetic technology bill will cost us dearly. Sir, as the genetic technology bill races unhindered through Parliament, the potential seismic consequences to the UK food industry from this contentious policy are simply being ignored. This deeply troubling bill removes any labelling and traceability requirements for a hypothetical subclass of GMO, the so-called precision-bred organism, PBO. These exempted organisms will effectively be hidden in the food system. The Regularity Policy Committee has already raised a red flag, stating that the bill fails to consider the impact of creating a new class of GMO. Let's be absolutely clear-eyed that in its present form, this bill will fail businesses, it will fail consumers, and it will fail the environment. OF&G believes that the government must urgently make provision to minimise the financial impact to all food businesses by establishing a comprehensive coexistence regime. The worrying alternative is that businesses would need to undertake their own traceability testing, a complex and expensive process, adding an estimated cost of around £500,000 per annum to SMEs. Neither does the bill address the implications to significant export markets where GMOs are still regulated. If the UK does not make adequate provision to ensure PBOs are identified, critical markets will be lost to UK food businesses. Hiding the GMOs with the food system will have measurable long-term consequences on an already reeling UK food industry. It also fails to safeguard our basic right as citizens to make an informed choice about what we consume. Yours, etc., Roger Kerr, Chief Executive, Organic Farmers and Growers. Currents confusion. Sir, in the run-up to COP27, Sharm el-Sheikh Climate Conference, I haven't seen any increase in extreme weather, but I've seen an increase in climate hysteria. I have an idea for something the delegates could do. A 2018 study, lead authored by David Thornalley, suggests that the ocean currents have been slowing down due to climate change. A 2020 study authorised by Shine Hu suggests that ocean currents have been speeding up due to climate change. Now, something cannot slow down and speed up at the same time, so the delegates could come to a consensus which study is correct. Yours, etc., Jeff Moore, via email. No sympathy. Sir, John Swinney, as Acting First Minister, had ruthlessly slashed budgets in Scotland, with worse to come as mental health and primary care services take a big budget hit. The irony is that if the SNP had not wasted taxpayers' money on the ferries in Prestwick Airport and other doomed projects, there would have been enough money to avoid these savage cuts. The people of Scotland would have had more sympathy for the government if they had put their own house in order. Yours, etc., Dennis Forbes, Grattan, by email. Dogfouling in the cemetery is so very disrespectful. Sir, the dogfouling in the Old Isle Cemetery is really disgusting. I have read the rules set by the cemeteries, the rules of the cemetery set out by East Dunbartonshire Council, and my question is, when are you intending to enforce your own rules? This is the only sample of the dogfouling epidemic that is taking over society. It's bad enough we have to plough through the length and breadth of Kirkintilloch, but now it's all over the cemetery. These are people's graves, the last resting place for loved ones, sons, daughters, mothers, fathers and grandparents. It has been utterly disrespected by some lazily, ignorant dog owners. How dare you? I refuse to visit my loved one's grave and lift your dog crap. It's utterly disgraceful. I'm aware not all dog owners are irresponsible, but there's certainly quite a few letting their dogs run free in the Old Isle. I have witnessed them throwing balls and letting the dog run over people's graves, and have challenged people for letting their dog lift its leg on someone's headstone. Such a show of disrespect, and they look at me as if I'm bonkers. Well, I demand that the East Dunbartonshire Council enforce their own rules and get this practice of dogs running free in the Old Isle Cemetery stopped. We pay a fortune to East Dunbartonshire Council for the plots, so it was cleared up and some signs were put up. Name and address supplied. Events aplenty for all bibliophiles. Food, football and fiction are just some of the highlights of Book Week Scotland 2022 in East Dunbartonshire. East Dunbartonshire Leisure and Culture, EDLC, Trust Venues, will host a range of exciting events between the 18th and 24th of November, with acclaimed local authors reading from their works and sharing their inspirations. Book Week Scotland is an annual celebration of books and reading that takes place across the country. With the help of funding from the Scottish Book Trust, EDLC libraries are hosting a fantastic programme of free in-person events at local libraries. Learn about writing believable characters and co-writing a free evening of celebration and conversation with Neat Nielsen at Mulgai Library, and enjoy an entertaining and informative evening of chat about the beautiful game in Bishopbriggs and Kirkintilloch at Bishopbriggs Library with John McGee. Budding bakers will be rushing to snap up tickets for local writer and baker Deborah Murphy's event at the William Patrick Library as she reads for her memoir, The Magical Tea Room in the Hill, with some delicious free samples on offer as well. Popular local author Alan Martin will return to Bearsden Library to launch his latest collection of crime stories, Tales Murderous, where he will discuss the writing process and give insight on how he crafts the perfect short story and plots twisty mystery. EDLC Chair Jim Neal said, "We are delighted to be holding this event to celebrate Book Week Scotland, as we take this opportunity to celebrate the wealth of writing talent in our very own communities. As always, we have lots of interesting events taking place locally, including a number of book launches and evenings of celebrations and conversations. I'd encourage everyone to get along to enjoy one of the fantastic events. This is the perfect time to get signed up to your library. If you fancy getting some personalised book recommendations, then why not head along to Craighead Library at 11 AM or Lennoxtown Library at 2 PM on Tuesday the 15th of November for a brew and a blether." Call for action on delayed discharges. Age Scotland has called for much more focus and targeting action to address hospital delayed discharge figures, which are at their highest level in 6 years. The charity says that the situation has long since passed the point of crisis and cannot be allowed to continue as it has been. Figures published by Public Health Scotland showed 1,885 people were affected by delayed discharge on the September census date, a rise of 8% compared to August. There was a 13% increase in the total number of days, 54,960, spent in hospital in September by people otherwise medically fit to leave, compared to the year before. In September, hospitals had a daily average of 1,832 beds occupied by patients seemingly medically fit to be discharged. The average length of the delay was 23 days, more than 3 weeks in a hospital bed instead of being looked after at home. Brian Sloan, Chief Executive of Age Scotland, said, "For far too long there has been a steady increase in the number of older people unable to leave hospital because of a lack of available and appropriate social care support in their community. It's just not good enough and has a devastating impact on their ability to recover and be able to live the kind of life they had before going into hospital." Mr. Sloan added, "Unless there is vastly greater investment in social care and the recruitment and retention of much more qualified staff, we're going to be here again next month and the month after that with yet more older people suffering the physical and mental consequences of a lengthy stay in hospital." Childcare savings of £5,000 per child. Families of more than 83,200 children are saving around £5,000 per eligible child per year thanks to the Scottish Government's Early Learning and Childcare (ELC) offer. Latest figures show a year-on-year increase in children accessing funded ELC. The number taking up the full offer of 1,140 hours a year is also up from this time last year. If families paid for this themselves, it would cost them around £5,000 per eligible child per year. A total of 93,902 children aged 2 to 5 were accessing funded ELC at the start of September, a 3% rise from the same time last year. Of those, 83,237, 89%, were benefiting from the 1,140 hours offer. Children's Minister Claire Haughey said, "Scotland is the only part of the UK to offer 1,140 hours a year of funded early learning and childcare to all 3 and 4-year-olds and the eligible 2-year-olds. This offer saves families a significant amount of money, which is particularly important at a time when so many are struggling with the cost of living pressures. It also supports parents into work, training or study. High quality ELC benefits children too, by enriching their early years and giving them the confidence and skills they need to prepare them for school." Councillor Tony Buchanan, COSLA Children and Young People spokesperson, added, "A greater proportion of children are accessing the full 1,140 hours entitlement compared with April this year. The increase in availability of funded ELC is allowing children to more time to play and learn, and more opportunities for parents and carers to work, study or volunteer, as well as significant financial savings."
Anger over fire damage caused. Strathkelvin and Bearsden MSP Ronan Mackay has condemned vandals who torched a popular children's play park in Kirkintilloch. The local SNP MSP hit out after the thugs targeted Eastside Play Park at Ledgate around 9:30 am on Saturday, November the 5th, setting play equipment ablaze. Local residents also expressed their disgust. One tweeted, "Why would anyone want to burn down a children's play area on a Saturday morning, or any time for that matter?" The fire caused extensive damage to the main climbing frame at the play area, which was upgraded just 3 years ago by Eastern Bartonshire Council at a cost of £60,000. Ms Mackay, who was alerted to the blaze by a constituent, described the attack as a shocking and despicable act. She told the Kirkintilloch Herald, "It is unfathomable that someone would want to burn down a children's play area. It was a wonderful asset to the local community. The enjoyment of local youngsters has been destroyed by the callous actions of mindless vandals." Ms Mackay added, My office has been in touch with police who are carrying out detailed and extensive investigations into the fire, including making door-to-door inquiries, and I would urge anyone who can help in any way to get in touch with officers. I would like to thank the fire service for extinguishing the blaze so quickly and helping to keep people safe." Police Scotland said, we were made aware of a fire at Eastside Play Park at Ledgate on the morning of November 5th. The fire was extinguished by the Scottish Fire and Rescue Service, and inquiries into the incident are ongoing. The play area at Eastside was upgraded as part of East Dunbartonshire Council's open space strategy back in 2019. The Megadeck Campsie View Tower, which was targeted by the vandals, boasted 3 chutes for children of different ages and abilities, as well as climbing steps and nets. Anyone with any information on the blaze should contact the police on 101. The council has now started replacing and repairing the damage.
Picture Palace announces dates. Back in 2018, a consultation showed residents wanted to see the pictures back in Kirky. Your Kirky listened and delivered the Kirky Picture Palace. The community cinema has changed venues to accommodate for COVID vaccinations, but are still showing the same great choice of films. The majority of showings are now in the Park Centre on Kerr Street, with a newly introduced bespoke cinema service showing smaller events for diverse groups like dementia and ASN-friendly screenings. On December the 17th, Kirky Picture Palace will be screening the next event at Kirky Town Hall, with 2 showings of the brand new Matilda the Musical, followed by the Christmas classic Love Actually in the evening. Tickets available to purchase at www.yourkirky.com/Kirky Picture Palace or at Created ID at Cowgate in Kirkintilloch. District News, Churches. Kirkintilloch, Church of God. At Regent Hall, Regent Street, there is a family praise service at 4 p.m. This features our praise band, video presentations and guest speaker Ross Osborne. Refreshments will be served after the service. A warm invitation to everyone who is able to join us. Come to Coffee Corner on Wednesday from noon till 2 p.m. for home baking and coffee. Join our friends and neighbours for a chat over a coffee. For up-to-date and further information on our services, visit our website on www.regenthall.org. The Bible says, He is able to save completely those who come to God through Him, Jesus. Hebrews chapter 7, verse 25. St David's Memorial Park Church. At St David's Memorial Park Church, our morning service on November the 20th will be at our usual time of 10:30am and will be led by our Church of Scotland reader John Nicholson. During our morning worship, school-aged children will have the opportunity to go through to our halls for their own time of fun and learning with JAM. All are welcome to attend our service. There are some COVID measures still in place, however. The wearing of face masks is not mandatory at this time. We look forward to welcoming you to the church. Our Tuesday lunchtime service will be held each Tuesday from noon in our small hall. Our next service will be Tuesday, November the 22nd. All are welcome to attend this afternoon service. Our Friendship Club will be meeting on the same day from 1:30pm to 3:30pm. We would like to extend a warm invitation. Other events taking place in the coming weeks are a Christmas craft event on Saturday, November the 26th from 10am to noon. This is for all primary aged children, and you just need to register your child with a youth organisation prior to arriving. Details are on Facebook. Also, the church will be offering a warm space starting on Monday, November the 21st. Times to be confirmed. Volunteers are needed to support this event. If you are able to offer some time and support, please contact the church through the Facebook page. Springfield Cambridge Church. Morning worship on Sunday, November the 20th will be led by Reverend Ian Taylor, Reverend Eston Duque de Castro, and Mrs. Julie Harty in the sanctuary at 11am. The Sunday school meets in room 2. There is also a creche facility where we will be happy to look after your child, birth to 3 years, in room 2. Morning worship has also been live streamed on the Springfield Cambridge Church YouTube channel. A link to this can be found on the Springfield Cambridge Church website, www.springfieldcambridge.org.uk, and Facebook page, where the up-to-date information about events and church organisations can also be found. Tea and coffee is available after the service in the Cameron Hall. Come along and enjoy the fellowship. There will be a vestry hour on Wednesday, November the 16th from 10am to 11am for anyone who wishes to speak with the minister. There will be a short service of worship in the Springfield Chapel on Wednesday, November the 16th from 11:10am to 11:30am with refreshments afterwards in the Hall of Fellowship. St James Church, Hilton Road, Bishopbriggs. Rector Reverend Canon Paul Wilson, 0141 230 4080. On Saturday, November the 19th, Dads and Toddlers will be taking place in the church hall from 10:45 a.m. All dads and toddlers are very welcome to come along. Bacon rolls will be provided for the dads. On Sunday, November the 20th, there will be a Sunday club at 10:30 a.m. The church is now open for socially distancing services, face masks a personal choice. There is a communion service at 11 a.m. on Thursday in the chapel, and on Sunday, November the 20th in the chapel at 9 a.m. and at 10:30 a.m. in the church. Everyone is welcome to come along to any of the services. Do stay for tea and coffee and fellowship afterwards. The Meditation Labyrinth is still available in the car park for a mindful walk around. There are also virtual services and groups for up-to-date dates and further information. Refer to our social media. Facebook, St James the Less Bishopbriggs. Website, www.stjamesbishopbriggs.org.uk. Colston Well Park Church. A warm welcome to our morning service, commencing at 11 a.m. and read by Reverend Leslie Grieve. Tea and coffee served in the hall after the service. The Colston Art Club continues this Monday starting at 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. New members are welcome and, if interested, contact 07709 584 680. Our pre-Christmas art sale and coffee morning is on Saturday, December the 3rd from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Cake and Company is on every Wednesday from 11 a.m. to noon. The brownies have restarted and are on every Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. All girls aged from 7 years to 10 years welcome. The company and senior sections for the Boys Brigade are on every Friday starting at 7 p.m. The food bank is only on this Friday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. and 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Follow our church services on Facebook at Colston Well Park Parish Church, and if you require further information on any of our church activities, contact Leslie Grieve on 07813 255 052. Torrens Parish Church. The morning service, in person, is at 10:30 a.m. conducted by the Reverend Stuart Irwin. During the service, the youngsters meet together in creche, junior church and frog. To join the service online, go to www.torrensparishchurch.online.church. Thank You for the Music Sing-Along is on Thursday, November the 17th from 1:30 p.m. to 3 p.m. and is dementia friendly. The cafe is open every Wednesday 9 a.m. to noon for teas and coffees and delicious home baking. Why not come and taste for yourself? The prayer ministry team will also be available from 10:30 a.m. to noon. The Girls Brigade meet on Wednesdays 6:15 p.m. to 8:15 p.m. Primary 1 to Secondary 6, and the Boys Brigade meet on Thursdays 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Primary 7 to Secondary 6. To find out about regular weekly activities, check the website for what's on at www.tpc.org.uk. Kenmure Parish Church. This Saturday we will be holding a quiz night beginning at 7 p.m. Entry will be by donation, with all proceeds going to the Torch Trust and guide dogs for the blind. Our Sunday morning service at 11 a.m. will be read by Gordon McAnally, reader in the Church of Scotland. The wearing of masks will leave to personal choice throughout the sanctuary. The service will be live streamed on YouTube and can be found by searching for Kenmure Bishopbriggs. Details of all of our groups currently running can be found on our website kenmure-church.co.uk. To find us on Facebook, just search for Kenmure Parish Church. If you would like to join our WhatsApp group or receive the Bible studies from ABC, then email us at kenmurechurch@icloud.com. St Mary's Parish Church. The service on Sunday, November the 20th will begin at 11 a.m. as usual and will be taken by the Reverend Dr. Ruth Morrison. The young church will meet in the halls for age-related activities. The tickets for the Advent lunch will go on sale after the service in the halls. This lunch is a 3-course sit-down lunch, provided by caterers. Tickets cost £5 and on the day a donation. The ticket will reserve your place at the lunch. Children will need a ticket too, so we have an accurate number of people coming, but do not need to pay the £5. There is a choice of meal and when you buy your ticket you will be asked which of the meals on offer you would like. We will also need to be informed of any special dietary requirements. Everyone very welcome. Home Church, Scotland, Lammermoor Road, Kirkintilloch, G66 4JP. Speak up and judge fairly. Defend the rights of the poor and needy. Proverbs, chapter 31, verse 9. One Church, Home Church. 4 locations: Kirkintilloch, Glasgow, Stornoway and online. A church for all ages. Every Saturday at 6:30 p.m. The kitchen at home. Warm space, warm meal, warm welcome. Suggested donation of £1.50 per adult. Children eat free. Coming soon, coffee corner on Fridays from 9:30 am. Sunday, 9:30 am, communion. 10 am, prayer time. 10:30 am, fellowship, tea and coffee available. 11 am, worship service in Children's Church, followed by tea and coffee. The Sunday evening service is in Renfield Centre, Bath Street, Glasgow at 7 p.m. Minibus leaves Home Church at 6:30 p.m. Wednesday at 7:15 p.m. is fellowship night, including a time of prayer and Bible study. Bible study in Glasgow at Renfield Centre on Wednesday at 7:15 p.m. Youth meet on Fridays at 7:30 p.m. for Youth Alpha and fellowship. See Facebook and Instagram for more up-to-date information. St Columba's Hillhead. St Columba's Hillhead Church is spread over 2 sites, St Columba's and Hillhead. Do join us for our Sunday service at St Columba's at 10 am or at Hillhead at 11:30 am. Tea, coffee and juice are served after the service at St Columba's and before the service at Hillhead. We'd love to meet you there, but if you can't come in person, you can still connect with us by livestream via www.kirkintillochstcolumbus.org.uk or by searching for St Columba's Hillhead Kirkintilloch on YouTube. We have a shorter midweek service at St Columba's on Wednesdays at 10 am. We're launching our Warm Welcome initiative this week. The St Columba's halls are open for free tea and coffee and Wi-Fi on Thursday mornings, 10 to noon. The Hillhead Society is open for free tea and coffee on Wednesday afternoons, 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. A warm welcome to all. Reverend Philip Wright, Minister, St Columba's Hillhead Church, Old Dale Road, Kirkintilloch. P. Wright, churchofscotland.org.uk. Mobile 07427 623 393. Milton of Campsie remembers. All generations gather together in Milton of Campsie at the weekend to remember those who have made the ultimate sacrifice. Milton of Campsie Church, we're back in the building, no need to book. If you sit in the centre aisle, there is no need to wear a mask. If you sit in the side aisles, please wear one. The Guild meets at 2 p.m. on Wednesdays, with the train now arriving, Glenda White. Time to pray is also on Wednesdays at 7:15 p.m. Come and go as you please. Our Warm Spaces hub is now open and running on Mondays and Thursdays in the afternoon. To volunteer and or for more details, contact Anne Pert, annpert56@gmail.com or 01360 313 003. BB Anchor and Junior sections meet on Friday at 6:15 p.m. Go Mad Extra will take place in the church complex on Sunday, November the 27th from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. Entitled Giacchino, Darius the Yak from Sing 2 will help us think about the humility of the king born in a stable. This is for all children preschool up to P7. Register with Jot Form. We will visit Lilliburn, Kintyre and Burston care homes on November the 20th, third Sunday of the month. Next Sunday is Reign of Christ the King Sunday. Send a pic of yourself with a crown or a cross or both. 16th of November, District News, Holyrood View, Help for Nature and Wildlife Projects by Ross Greer, MSP. While Westminster plunges our economy into crisis and both the climate and nature emergencies grow even more severe, the Scottish Greens are using our role in the Scottish Government to deliver real change for people and planet. At our party conference last month, our co-leader and Scottish Government Minister Lorna Slater announced that the Scottish Government has now adopted the Greens' position of opposing new coal mines, and, in doing so, Scotland has a clear position that fossil fuels should remain in the ground. This is vital for tackling the climate crisis. This is particularly important as the UK government has just issued a new licence for coal mining in the south of Scotland, but planning permission for any new mines would be a devolved issue. The First Minister has made clear that the Scottish Government opposes plans for the new combo oil field off Shetland, but given just how dirty coal is, it's essential that we oppose a step backwards here too. One of the first decisions facing the new Sunak government is whether to give the go-ahead to a new coal mine in Cumbria. This would be the first new coal mine in 30 years. The UK government's own climate change advisor has described the prospect as indefensible. Lorna's second announcement was a game-changing wave of support for nature conservation projects. £2.9 million of special projects will add to the £65 Nature Restoration Fund that is already supporting wildlife all over Scotland. Sorry, I think that £65 must be a misprint. Continuing. There's also an additional £200,000 Nature Networks funding, which will include support for the Clyde Climate Forest, a massive scheme to create a network of woodland for nature and climate across the Greater Glasgow area, including in Eastern Bartonshire. We need to protect sites for nature, and it's important that these sites include those in and around our towns and cities. There's no reason why people living in Kirkintilloch and Bishopbriggs shouldn't have fantastic wildlife habitats near them. Make no mistake, Westminster will continue to put profits for their rich friends ahead of the radical action needed to protect our planet. Scotland must do what we can to lead the way, and I'm delighted that Greens in government are doing exactly this. Horticultural Society. The next meeting of the Horticultural Society is in Edinburgh Enterprise House on Thursday, November the 17th from 7:30pm to 9:30pm with Lauren Lochery from Herald Homestead, who will give a talk about Scottish and Siberian plants, their uses and benefits, plus information on permaculture gardening. All are welcome. Anyone wishing to find out more about the Society can contact Paul on 0141 578 1520 or visit our website address www.kirkintillochhorty.org.uk. Support for disabled young adults. A national charity scheme which aims to improve quality of life and independence for young disabled adults aged 18 to 24 is calling for families to apply for the much needed support. Faced with 3 times higher costs to raise a disabled child or young adult, the current cost of living crisis is deeply challenging for families, now finding it even harder to avoid the things a disabled young person needs to transition to adulthood, including technology, training and leisure activities. National Charity Family Fund is urging families with an 18 to 24-year-old young adult to apply for wide-ranging grants through its Your Opportunity scheme, set up 3 years ago to help young disabled adults lead more fulfilling lives and realise ambitions. The scheme has so far supported over 2,000 families, and funds are available to help over 1,000 more young adults by next spring. Cheryl Ward, Family Fund's Chief Executive Officer, said, "With the cost of living rising ever higher, families are having to cut down on essentials like food and heating. There is little room for the extras which improve a young person's quality of life. Families are eligible to apply if the young person lives at home with their parents or main carer. Families interested in making an application for a young person should go to www.familyfund.org.uk.
Rob Roy in 7-Goal Thriller. Article unattributed, but read by me, Corey. Kirkintilloch Rob Roy were involved in a 7-goal thriller this weekend. The team travelled to Ayrshire, where they took on top of the table Darvel FC, and it was the home side that just edged it by 4-3. Rob Roy are currently 7th in the table after a poor run of form, but manager Stuart Maxwell had praise for his side's efforts, which also saw the debut of new boy PG McGiff. I cannot fault their effort today. It was outstanding to a man. They worked hard. They played a system to create chances, and we created a lot of them. The 2 goals we lost were terrible, and I felt for them. The first one, to have worked so hard and they got a poor goal like that was hard. Just switching off there. I thought we looked as though we were going to take something from the game. There were poor decisions for us defensively, but on the creative side we did well, and the boys will be motivated for Saturday. This Saturday we'll see Hurlford United as visitors with the team at home to Troon the following week. Meanwhile, West Park FC took the scalp of Division 1 side Ben Burb FC in the West of Scotland League Cup on Saturday, November 13th. Connor Irving scored all 4 goals as West Park won 4-3 in what was a thrilling match for spectators. The winner came in the 87th minute, sending the West Park fans wild. Ashfield FC progressed through to the third round of the West of Scotland Cup, after a 4-1 win over Lugar Boswell Thistle on Saturday at the Peugeot Ashfield Stadium. Some teams came into the weekend's fixture in good spirits after their results the previous week, and an exciting contest was expected. However, the Ashfield management team had to tinker slightly with the lineup due to some injuries sustained. The scoreline suggested a comfortable passage, however it was far from it, as the Ayrshire outfit played exceptionally well for the first hour, and could count themselves unluckily not to have gone ahead at that point. However, Ashfield upped the tempo in the last half hour, scoring some lovely goals to send the fans home happy. First win for amputees. Scotland amputee football team secured its first ever international win at the weekend when the team triumphed over Belgium in the inaugural Scottish International Amputee Football Tournament at the Autumn, Edinburgh. With teams competing from Ireland, Belgium and Israel, Scotland were beaten by Israel and Ireland on Saturday before taking on Belgium. With goals from Harris Tinney and Rob Wilson, Scotland faced Belgium for a second time this afternoon for a third place playoff. A free kick from Lee Gregory put the ball ahead just before half-time in what was a closely contested first half. Belgium levelled through a free kick of their own with 10 minutes left on the clock. The Scots hit back with a perfect reaction as they moved up the pitch and won a penalty. Rob Wilson stepped up again to score his second of the tournament to secure the win. As a result, Scotland finished in third in the tournament, while Israel and Ireland battled it out in a nail-biting clash, finishing first and second respectively. Ashley Reid, CEO and founder of Amputee Football Association Scotland, commented, "It's been a terrific experience welcoming our friends from Belgium, Ireland and Israel for Scotland's first international amputee football tournament. Our squad has trained relentlessly in recent months, and to secure not one but 2 wins this weekend is a testament to that. This will give players an enormous boost, and we hope that success will put amputee football firmly on the sporting map." Rosvale beaten in semis by Dryborough. Championship and League One Cup holders Dryborough Athletic are through to the final once more, after a Megan Robb double and a second half goal from Alma Codigone saw off Glasgow side Rosvale in the semi-final in Airdrie. It was Rosvale who looked brighter in the opening exchanges, with the sides trading position in the midfield. After 4 minutes, forward Joss Fletcher beat the last defender to find herself through on goal, but put it just left of the post, a chance Rosvale would perhaps look back on as the opportunity which could have created some momentum. At the other end, Rossvale keeper Rachel Docherty was alive to the threat from balls over the top for Coglagone and Chelsea Lowney to run it in. But after 14 minutes, Dryborough utilised the same counter-attacking speed which hadn't won them last year's final. Megan Ropp latching onto an inch perfect through ball from new signing Hannah Innes, which made no mistake, taking her time to place a shot beyond Docherty. Rossville grafted their way into the box a number of times, but the Dryborough backside successfully crowded out first Fiona Cully, then Melissa Porter. It was another quick counter-attack that gave Megan Robb the chance for her second, making no mistake after a solo run on the left to fire home on the 40-minute mark. Rossville started brightly in the second half, winning 2 free kicks in quick succession, but again their forwards could not find room amongst the Dryborough back line to get a touch on the deliveries. Then another break by Dryborough at the other end saw Rossville concede a corner that they failed to deal with, leaving Alma Codagoni to slide in at the near post for Dryborough's third amid the maelstrom. Neither side found much rhythm in the closing stages, Dearan Golan breaking into the Rossville box without managing to carve out a chance, and Lauren McCulloch in the Rossvale midfield tried to get the ball down and play. The final will take place in Alloa on Sunday, December 11th.
Thank you for listening to this week's Kirkintilloch Herald podcast, brought to you by Cune Review, print speaking to the blind. If you have any feedback, you're welcome to call us on 0141 772 3976. If you enjoyed this recording, feel free to subscribe to our channel.